Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm in my craft room right now and I just finished editing this video and I just had to come on personally and say hello. You know, I always tell you sometimes you're going to see the ugly. Today is no different. Look at me, I haven't even brushed my hair. I feel like family, so family sees family. A hot mess sometimes, right? I don't think I've made signs on my channel, but I wanted to bring them to you today. Geez, what a hot mess. One of these signs in particular is something that I saw on Hobby Lobby's website and I just had to recreate it. I don't know if you guys know, my dad was a Cuban musician, and he's actually related. He is first cousin of Gloria Estefan's father. You know, come on everybody, baby, do that conga. Yeah, that and a token will get me on a New York subway. My uncle was also a famous Cuban musician. They both played the flute. How coincidental. I just wanted to recreate something that would honor them in some way, and I've done that with my first DIY. The second DIY is just something I saw also on Hobby Lobby's website and wanted to recreate it because I want to recreate everything I see. Let's get into the video. Now we're going to start this off with the tumbling tower game. I'm only going to take 5 pieces and then I'm going to paint all the way around except for the bottom. You don't need to paint the bottom because that's what we're going to attach to our frame. Now I'm using the Apple Barrel black paint in gloss. I chose to make these pieces kind of shiny, but you can definitely use any black paint you have on hand. Next up, this frame from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to remove the cardboard piece that comes inside. This frame has no glass. I'm going to try really hard to stop saying Dollar Tree. Everything comes from the Dollar Tree unless I state otherwise. Then I grabbed some poster board from the Dollar Tree. You get 4 in a pack, and I'm just going to trace out that piece of cardboard that comes with the frame. Didn't I just say I was going to stop saying Dollar Tree? I forget, I'm old. I then cut around it and I fit it back into the frame. It doesn't really matter which side you use. Then I put the cardboard piece back in reverse with the little clip facing me so that if I choose to hang it later, I can use the little hole in the clip to hang it on a nail. Now lately my fave has been the super glue gel that I get at the Dollar Tree. It dries super fast and I just don't have to pull out my glue gun. I'm using it to glue these little faux Jenga pieces onto my frame, making this look like a piano keyboard. And this is what it looks like at this point. Now I printed out a quote on my CRICUT. If I'm not mistaken, it's supposed to read where words fail, not when. But Hobby Lobby wrote it this way, maybe to prevent a lawsuit or not to pay royalties. Who knows? But it's a quote by Hans Christian Andersen, and I absolutely love this quote. And so, to make it look more like the Hobby Lobby one, I decided to go with their version. Now, if you have good penmanship, I don't, and my hands shake, but if you do, you can certainly use, I won't say magic marker because I dated myself last time I said this, you can certainly use a Sharpie. And I guess you could use Dollar Tree stickers as well. I try my best to line up each word with each one of the piano keys. I use a small plastic ruler that I cut, and that's what I'm using to make sure that the words are relatively straight. I also add a few music notes that I also printed off my CRICUT. Now the original piece, which I got my inspiration from, and I'll show you in a few minutes, had some lines, making this look like an actual piano, and I didn't think that I was going to be able to pull that off either. So on my CRICUT, I just found an image that actually had like all of these lines, and I will tell you this was a very tedious process. I would not recommend it. Make these lines with a Sharpie. You'll probably save yourself a headache. I had a migraine by the time I finished. This is the way that I wanted to do it. You know, everybody does things differently. I just recommend using a Sharpie for this part. This was my inspiration piece. Hobby Lobby was selling it for $14.99. If I had to put a dollar figure on how much I paid to recreate this, I'd say it was about $1.50. But then again, you know my math. It's not very good. I decided to add a little picture of a flute at the bottom in honor of both my dad and my uncle. For my second DIY, I'm going to grab this Valentine's Day sign. I got it around Valentine's Day at the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to remove this wording that says Valentine's. It really pops up very easily. I did it with one of those paint can opener things. I love the front of this sign and how it has those grooves, making it look sort of like a shiplap wall. But I'm going to use the back, and I'm going to show you in a few minutes how I do that, how I make this look just like the front. Now I just used a sanding block that I got from Dollar Tree to sand the tag off, and then I proceed to sand the whole piece. Then taking a ruler so that my line will be straight, sorry for the fat arm, I take a screwdriver and I just go right in, making a deep score into the heart. That sounds painful. I'm sorry I described it that way. To make sure that my lines are exactly where they would be in the front, I make a mark where the scoring is on the front, and then I place my ruler there and proceed to score, you know, that thing. Just, you could see what I'm doing. I go over it again with the screwdriver just to make those score lines a little deeper. I give it a light sanding, and now we're ready for paint. I'm just kind of dry brushing. I'm using my white linen chalk paint by Rust-Oleum. It's my fave. Now I wouldn't even consider this to be one coat. I wanted that MDF board to kind of show through and make it look like it was kind of like old weathered wood. So yeah, I didn't even give this one coat. Now for this next part, you're going to need some jute twine. Dollar Tree does sell it in the automotive section, but I just don't like this twine. It's thick in some areas, thin in others. It's just a hot mess. So I got this cute little number on DECOR STEALS online, and I decided to use the twine that it came with. I'll also be using these beads that I got from Amazon. You get 100 of them in a pack, and they're only $8.49. There are many ways to feed the twine through the beads. What works for me is masking tape. Do what works for you and what you feel comfortable doing. In total, I take 16 of these beads and feed the twine through them. This twine and bead combo is how I am going to hang my sign. So I just feed the twine through the holes that the sign already had. Convenient. Cut both sides of the twine, making sure to leave about, I don't know, 2.5 inches, because what we're going to do is we're going to create little tiny tassels. Nothing fancy, just regular knots. And what I'm doing is after I make the knot, I make sure to push, up against the panel because, I don't want this to be any longer, if that makes any kind of sense. I also go back and I make the knots just a little thicker, and I do that by just creating about 3 or 4 knots against the first knot. And I'm going to try not to say knot anymore. I take my fingernail and I just separate the twine a bit, and then I just give it a cut. Now I printed out the words "Love lives here" on my CRICUT, and if you've watched my channel before, you know the drill. All I do is just separate the vinyl from the words, taking out all of the, I guess you call it negative space, and then I weed it. This is called weeding, in case you don't know. And then I use my fabulous, wonderful contact paper that I get at the Dollar Tree, and I use that to adhere my vinyl to my piece. A light sanding on top to make it look a bit weathered. This was my original inspiration piece from Hobby Lobby. Not sure how much it was because it was in the spring shop and I don't think they have it anymore, but this is how mine turned out and I absolutely love it. I placed it or hung it from a shutter that I have in my entry. How much did it cost to duplicate this? Well, the sign was $1. I already had the twine and I only used a bit of it. 16 beads from a pack of 100, so I'd say my sign cost me maybe about $1.50 to make, much less than the original, I'm sure. As always, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really do appreciate you. We're almost at 9,000 subscribers. I couldn't have done it without all of you. I am truly, truly grateful. I really hope you enjoyed today's sign DIYs, and let me know in the comments below which one was your favorite, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.